This is episode 251 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. 4 rounds is not all I need, Manzano.
Yo, so I am being classy today. I am drinking champagne out of a wine bottle like a true
Out of a wine
who doesn't have a
glass?
champagne glass. Thank you. Champagne out of a wine glass.
I just got to make sure
that weird.
The people.
Weird. It's hard to get it in. Like it's like maybe use a funnel.
That's why for our audio only listeners, they would have been like, "Wait, what is he doing?" He's apparently you're just trying to get that flavor, that little bit extra.
Yeah.
We're also joined by Will. All I need is you all. Hey, Good.
You almost corrected it to y'all. I almost typed y'all.
And Ryan, ElmoChaosFlames.gif Staniszewski.
Chaos everywhere.
So announcements and news, quite a few things, unless you've been living under a rock. So last Tuesday, right after we end up publishing our podcast Tuesday mornings, or if you're watching Monday nights, AMG dropped all the new rules, scenarios, points, everything. It is out there in the wild. We're going to be talking about all of that, but today what we will not be doing is breaking it all down. We're not going to go and read the rules to you today. We're going to be making videos for that. But we will be referring to all of those new rules throughout the podcast today. Pictures of Republic Z95s got leaked by a French distributor. Adepticon rules for all the events are complete, posted and up. We'll be talking through there. And we had the Cherokee Open happen last weekend. It was our first taste of competitive X-Wing. Shout out to Steven Parker and Dad Gaming for doing that. Even though they didn't have the tournament rules, they were just like, let's do it. Let's go for it. And I commend them with the short time. And then also I want to announce a local tournament here besides Adepticon, but the weekend before Adepticon, the Saturday before, at Pastimes Comics and Games, the home store of Gold Squadron, we're going to be doing a 4-round warm-up tournament. So if you haven't practiced your objectives enough, or you want to get a few more games in and test out some lists before committing to a list at Adepticon, it's a perfect time to get it done. We're capping at 32, $10. We'll be splitting that between everybody for store credit. We got some participation prizes. Obviously, nothing as cool as what we actually have at Adepticon, but it's a great time to practice, and looking forward to seeing you guys out there. All right. So I figured we start with some of the easier stuff, and then we just keep diving down in. We keep drilling down. And I figured we start with what I was like, super neat, super excited to see it. Here we go. We got Republic Z95s confirmed. All right. Marcel, give me a stat line. What's your guess?
I didn't know they had Republic Z95s.
What? That's where the Z95 come from. That's where it comes from.
No, I'm saying, when did they announce this or show this?
He literally didn't listen to the intro. Wow. Of course. Classic.
It
was leaked by a French distributor.
It'll be 2-2.
You don't think? Man, look at those wings. They're so menacing. You don't think they get that third dice?
No, it'll be 2-2-2-2. All twos across the board. Yeah, it'll be just like the other Z95s.
Oh, sad. Will, do you think those wings give them anything? What do they get?
They got to have some sort of juicy chassis ability or something, right? Because the V-Wings have bombs. Mm-hmm. Tarkin has missiles, I believe. I don't know if anybody else has missiles on their V-Wing, but that's kind of their specialty. Torrents, they're normally the munitions carriers. They like that lock action, a little bit chunkier. So what does the Z90, what is the role? What does it specialize in then?
I don't know.
Well, I'll give you a different perspective. You said this is Galactic Republic, right?
Yeah.
So just chronologically, ships evolve and you would assume get better as they evolve. So, you know, the T65 turned into the T70, the Rebel A-Wing turned into the Resistance A-Wing. So they evolved and they've gotten better. So I would say this is like a early, if it's a Z95, it's an early Z95. So I wouldn't make it, I wouldn't, outside of their abilities, I wouldn't think that the chassis itself would be better than what comes in a future era.
You don't think so? Because my understanding was that the Z95s of the later era are like basically like the scraps. Like, we slap this together and it flies and has lasers. It's kind of my understanding canonically of it, which could be wrong. I mean, that's what who knows? Stan Azuski, what are you got any guesses?
My guess will be they'll stick with the 2 attack, 2 agility. But I think they'll go 3 hull, 1 shield. You know, it's a beefier Z95. But I think them having shields in the past, they'll kind of have that FO style health, the 3 hull, 1 shield. What I did do is a little bit of digging into the Wikipedia as its armament, what it has been known to take. Normal wingtip mounted laser cannons, but it has torpedo launchers potentially. So we could see, instead of a missile Z95, we could see torpedoes.
All right. Well, we'll see what ends up happening. Super excited. You know, if you go in and enhance here and enhance, what does that look like? Initiative 3. Hawk, maybe? And no, that's an H. Hawk. What's something that starts with a D? The clone with a D name. Who knows? Oddball? Is it Oddball? Is it an O? Drift?
That's like dirt. It always could be Oddball.
Isn't there like a it's just Drift right there? Dirk Diggler? I don't know. Dirk.
I think from these quotes I'm kind of scrolling through the Wikipedia of Hawk and Warthog flew these at least before.
Okay.
Don't know if we'll get the same abilities.
Oh, we'll find out. What if here I'll take my shot in the dark. Maybe these get to boost and barrel roll. Why not both? All right, not in the same turn, but you got options.
System phase boost, please. Let's go.
Yep. Marcel, please do not adjust your gain locally. I will do it. Put it back to where it was, because you just made everything.
I don't know where it was. I just went like this with the dial.
So you just spin the dial. See what happens. All right. Somebody said reinforce. Maybe. I don't know. That'd be a bold choice, bold design choice, but we'll see what ends up happening. And I think the other picture that was going around with this was also the rogue class. What the heck is the thing called?
It's a rogue class starfighter.
Rogue class starfighter. Right. But we talked about that. That leak came out earlier before. Some people hadn't seen it yet, but it's out there. But yeah, super excited. We'll see what we end up getting here for the Republic. Another small base ship. Now I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Adepticon tournament rules for the event, because I know there's a lot of people who listen to the show who are planning on going or just curious what's happening. So if you go ahead and open up that document, which we'll get a link to it, but I posted it all over Facebook and Discord. In this document, I specifically want to focus on the main event, because I was allowed to publish this, so we can talk about what's in here. But AMG is in the process of publishing tournament rules. All right, it's on the boat. They said it's fine. Let people know it's on the boat. So there's going to be some things in here when you look at it, you go, but what's that? Can you be more specific? I can't, but everything in here refers to things that are coming, and I was as clear with what I could be as possible. Namely, some of the bigger changes you might notice is we'll go ahead and start here. We're doing 6 rounds of Swiss on day 1 of Adepticon, single elimination on day 2. That's pretty normal. And right here, per the Atomic Mass Games event rules document, each game timer will vary from 72 to 78 minutes. Now, you might be wondering, how do you determine that? I can't tell you, but it will vary. The second part of here, if you continue reading, is that the actual timer, okay, will not be displayed. It's not a public timer. And the reason for this is the goal is to play to 20 points and 12 rounds, not to play to time. That is what is at least being tried. Now, with that, one of the things when I had my conversation with AMG, and I can do this because this was my idea. Was, hey, what is the information that I can get you to see if your ideas are working? And we're working with Dennis Bale from TTT. Shout out to him, by the way. And when you report your score and you're a player on TTT, we're actually going to be collecting more information than just who was the winner, who was the score. We want to know how many rounds of play did you have in your game, and did you go to time, yes or no?
Can I add? Can I make a suggestion on adding one more thing? Again, if what we're doing is collecting feedback, both for ourselves, so we can talk about it, and then we can share it, and then if other people see it and build on it, then great. If we are data, we are data. Another thing that I think might be useful is, did you enjoy the game? No, I mean, I'm being genuine. Because I'll tell you why. Because that will give us a little bit when we pair that up with which objective was played. There might be some objectives that that are more fun than others, and the numbers will say that. So I'm not saying that to say like, oh, people like it, people dislike it. We don't even have to put the 30% of the people liked it or not. I mean, we don't even have to do that if we don't want to get drama. But at least we can say the objective that was, or the scenario that was most liked was this. The second scenario, we can give AMG the raw numbers, but
I think a better way to do that, personally, would not necessarily be on the match slip, because I want to keep that match specific, but after, we can definitely collect that data, because I'm going to have contact information for everybody, and then do some type of survey. I think that's a great idea. Once people have actually been able to play through the scenarios and collect, their own personal feelings on all of them, I do like that as an idea. On the match slip itself, though, I'm going to refrain from putting that on there. I like the concept, though. But I wanted to finish this because there's a couple of questions that came up in the chat. Well, somebody asked, am I allowed to have a timer running if my opponent and I agree? You're not going to know how much time is on the timer, so that might end up hindering you. I'm not going to stop you. I frankly don't care, right? I'm not gonna go check it. I'm gonna check your phone, see if you have a timer on. I don't care. I'm just thinking, not at Adepticon. I'm saying at future events, what might be frowned upon is if your opponent believes that you are wasting time by checking a timer. That may be frowned upon. I don't know, but that's just kind of my 2 cents with what I've experienced there. And again, the focus that they want, and I built, all the rules are built here for the goals that AMG wants. All right, they want you to play to 20 points, 20 mission points, and 12 rounds. Or if the timer ends, then somebody was asking, how do you know when the timer ends? I'm gonna have a microphone and say, finish your round. That's it. You're done. All right. In a much more event-worthy way, of course, but wanted to go ahead and get that. And then for rankings, the tiebreakers strength of schedule, and combined mission points. You'll notice that there is no such thing as MOV anymore. It's gone. No MOV. It's just strength of schedule and combined mission points. If you're wondering, like, what are mission points? The score of your games. So, for instance, if Will and I are playing in a tournament and we both went 6-0, but he scored a total of 55 mission points, meaning like points from ships destroyed and points from objectives, that number together in each game, and he scored 55 and I scored 40, he is above me in the rankings. So what you'll see on TTT when that's ready, you'll see your how many wins and losses you have in one column, followed by a strength of schedule score, followed by combined mission points. You'll see that all stacked up there. There is a third tiebreaker. It's technically random, but it's going to be very unlikely that those don't break. And if we get a problem there, we'll figure it out. As for qualifying for the finals, you got to earn 15 or more points to move on to the finals. I will tell you just flat out, that is my call. That has nothing to do with AMG. That's basically, I'm saying you got to go 5-1 or better. There is no way to intentional draw into the cut. The way that they're doing event scoring, they're doing 3 points for every win, 1 point for a draw in the event points, and no points for a loss. But with the way that math worked out, I chose 15 specifically because there is no way to intentional draw into the cut, which if you've been around X-Wing for a long time was drama long ago. Because if I were to lower that to, let's say, 14, then we're in a different story. So
yeah, but you would need 2 draws. You would need to go 4 wins, 0 losses, 2 draws, which means you would have to collude with 2 different people.
Right.
Highly unlikely.
I mean,
and if you could, then just on basis of like being able to get 2 people to give you a point,
yeah,
you deserve to be in just for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally.
Can I clarify something else that Smikey's brought up in chat? So the draw in the scenario rules right now, if you are tied at 20 points and there's more rounds to go, you play until someone's ahead at the end of the round. This draw would be as if you're tied at time. Do I understand that correctly, Dion?
Yeah, the score. If your mission points are tied at time, you get a 0. You get a 0. Assuming you get 1 point each for both players. Correct. So there's no more final salvo. That's gone. It's over.
Well, what about in the elimination rounds, Dion?
That I don't have an answer for you yet. I don't have an answer for you yet. I have submitted the question
until there's a winner.
I mean in the final that might end up being the call. You basically play an additional round. And if
play until there's a winner.
Play until there's a winner, essentially.
Sudden death.
Yeah, I mean exactly. So it might be a little bit different. We're still looking into that. You'll understand when you guys get a hold of the tournament document. Why some of this is still a little bit nebulous. There's some information that was provided, some things that I had to kind of supplement in there for the purposes of Adepticon specifically and the goals of the convention. But yeah, it should be good. Prizes, we've talked about this quite a bit. There's a picture of everything there. Though there was something that I realized I missed on my initial post. The champion does get travel and room for the next World Championship. That is going to be for the winner. And there is also another prize that was written down for me in one place and not mentioned in another that's really cool, and I think will end up being the most desirable thing for most people. I know I'm being very vague, but that's because I don't know if it's coming or not. And if it's not, I'm sorry, but if it is, then I think you will be excited because it's something that hasn't been available before, and now it will be, which is cool. I know, super vague. Thanks, Dion. You're welcome. Alrighty. From you guys? Are there any questions about the main event that maybe a player might have that I haven't thought of?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, and this might be something that we're just waiting on the official tournament regulations for. Do we know how we're determining what scenario is occurring each round? And is it going to be tournament wide, or is it going to be per player basis?
Great question. It's tournament wide. I decide as the tournament organizer. I get to decide. I get to randomize them, and we will be playing 6 rounds that first day. So each one gets played. So once 3 have happened, what
we
the
let chat decide?
No.
No,
No, get out of here.
They would
we'll play all of them, but
while they would like it. Once we've played 3 of them, what the 4th one is going to be, right? Because of process elimination, we'll have 2 more rounds after that, and then we go from there. Okay.
And is the elimination rounds going to be the same, randomized, and just start rotating basically? Okay.
Or is it randomized all the way through and the cut?
That would be interesting if you randomized it all the way through elimination.
Yeah, because it's not a
it's
set
top 16, right?
So
it's
it depending on the number of
16,
people.
Well,
It depends on. It's a graduated cut. It's a graduated cut. So
we'll assume 32, 16, 8 for final. So at least all of them will be played in a top 16 then.
A final chance encounter would be ideal, but I'm not.
Oh, come on. These people have the mindset of like the final has to be a chance encounter. That's like least interesting.
I mean, we could go. What is that wizard?
Opinionated.
Is it the wizard where he plays Super Mario Bros. World? They're like, oh, you thought you were gonna play Super Mario Bros. 3 in the final? No. I don't know if we could go that bold to just bust out a brand new scenario.
But
the riots in the streets.
You're playing the droid you're looking for. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
The droid you're looking
for the other day.
Yeah, hopefully you played on
soccer.
Thursday. But yeah, the scenarios per AMG, they want them all randomized so they all end up getting used. And with the way the numbers are right now for the final, we'll end up having 5 rounds on Sunday. So the round of 32, which probably won't be 32 unless we get all the way to the, if 100-something people come and sign up in person, the week of. But right now we're at the round of 32. We'll get all 4 of those, and at the final, it will be randomized, and we'll make a big show of it. We'll so that it's 100%. Everybody knows what it's gonna be. We'll do some public way to randomize what that final round will end up being. So we'll end up seeing what happens, unless somehow we end up with only 4 rounds worth of people on Sunday, and then exactly which one it'll end up being.
So, Dion, if you want to have the most fun, Loop and Chewie's 4 players, right?
It
Each
is.
player color represent the objective. Last one standing.
I like it.
True Adepticon tradition.
This is the way. And for anybody who is playing, please make sure to carefully read all the information here. The link for the actual tournament is active. You can get yourself added to the roster. Of course, if you don't have a ticket, if you didn't buy one, don't sign up because you're just wasting my time when I have to delete you later. But the only thing that's not open right now is lists. that's closed because there's some things that need to be tweaked. But you can go ahead, get yourself on the list. And we are using Yasby as our official list builder. You must put your list in the tournament software using the Yasby link method. Bring 2 paper copies as well, one to match up what's on Yasby and one for your opponent. I got instructions there. You should be good to go. And yeah, we should be cool. There's also a bunch of side events that we're doing. Here, I'll just go ahead and just drop this event schedule and index there. We got Aces High pods that have been, I adjusted the rules for the new 2.5. Same thing with hangar bays. You'll notice that it says extended on there. Yo, bring whatever you want. I don't care for the pods. Like, if you want to bust out your Kiraxes, bust out your, I don't know, whatever floats your boat, feel free to do it. Same thing for Aces High, like, just have fun. The whole point of those is just to have a good time, get yourself some prize tickets, and that we got X-Wing duos that's happening on the Thursday. Droids you're looking for, that's on Friday. And that is a new scenario. It's not necessarily going to be added to like our official set of 4. It's just like think of it as a side scenario for funsies, and that's going to be the first time it's actually played by anybody. They're getting me all of the kits for that, and you can play, if you show up at the first round of that, you can play up to 6 rounds of it, or you just play 1. You play as many times as you want. We have designated start times for each of those. Then also on that Friday, we have the World Open Qualifier warm-up pods. So we'll set off 4 to 8 people basically getting their chance to practice the day before. Saturday, the real deal. Sunday, the finals and the Gold Squadron Galactic Redemption event should be good to go. It says, do we need to pre-register for these events, or can we sign up on site?
I was going to follow up on that. Basically, like, so say, for example, for especially the Redemption event, people who don't know if they made the cut or not.
Mm-hmm. You can sign up. You can sign up right there.
Or do they have to sign up the day before, ideally online? Like, I don't know how that would work.
So it's in person. All online ticketing is closed as of 5 p.m. today. Like, it's closed down. So I wish I could have had this out sooner, but this was the timing that we had was the timing that we had. But yeah, everything on this list we can get you in that day of. We're gonna have several people, working the registration table. You bring your $10 and you get in for the events. Of course, you do require a badge for Adepticon, so if you don't have a badge yet, that's another issue. That's something you'll have to talk to Adepticon about, and maybe get on a waiting list or something. That is available. Do you know how many people are currently signed up? The last I saw was 140 something. I could just go right now, event schedule. Oh, they took it down because they're doing stuff. Around 140 something is the number that I saw last for the main event. Should be a good time. I'm excited. And the one thing that is different for X-Wing versus the convention is X-Wing players, while you are playing during the event, you do need to wear a mask because we are unable to social distance in that place or while playing, and we're talking in each other's faces for 75 minutes. So while you're actually playing, mask will be worn. Obviously, when you're not playing, if you don't want to wear one, you do not have to. We're just going to require that during gameplay, you go ahead and have that mask on. So, yep, that is that. Any other questions? Those were awesome. Those are all, I'm like information blind because I've been so deep in this and I don't know what people don't know.
I think the only thing you missed there, Dion, was that the World Open Qualifier warm-up pods are standard, just like the main event is played in standard.
Correct. Yeah, I would just, if you're gonna do anything, please read these. I spent so much time. By the way, shout out to people who helped me with editing, just like getting all this information here. Aces Aces High is extended. There's the rules. Hangar Bay extended. Duos, standard for duos. All right. Droid you're looking for is also standard. There's your launch times. You can play up to 6 games. You don't have to play them all. Whatever. Follow your heart. World Open Qualifier, warm-up pod, standard. Like, all the information you need is in there. And if you have a question, hit me up. I got you. We'll take care of you.
Do we know if we're being allotted any more or less space this year in terms of between the tables because of trying to distance, even though they're not requiring masks?
So as of right now, I assume no. And if we have extra space, I'll space it out the best I can. The challenge as the organizer, as the organizer, is we need space for the main event and we need space for side events going on at the same time. So trying to manage that. I would expect probably not, because the other thing is we have a base map for how Adepticon is set up, and then now that they know how many people have signed up, they use those numbers to adjust how many tables we have. So my personal guess is I would assume not, but that's also one of the reasons why, as the TO of X-Wing, I'm implementing, that masks have to be worn during the games.
I was gonna say, like, hey, that should be a call out. Everyone gets signed up and pre-registered, but you just said everything closed down.
It is unfortunately. It's one of those where they close it a month early. Though, if you really want a ticket and you want to do it, get on the wait list. If you go to Adepticon, okay, you go to the Adepticon website. Let's go ahead. We'll do this together. All right, Adepticon. And you're like, I really want to register. It has this giant register now button, and it takes you here. You're like, oh, but what do you mean it's closed? It does take you to a wait list. Go ahead and fill this out, submit it, put your email address in there, and you never know. And if you let me know, hey, I'm on the wait list, can you get me in? And you tell me ASAP, I can get that to the head of Adepticon and be like, hey, I got more people who want to give you money. Are you in? All right. So I want to make sure we make it happen for you. So please just let me know. Let me know, and we will do what we can do.
Yeah, as someone who's actually had to go on the waitlist Adepticon in a previous year, I was able to get in. So don't fret. Go on the waitlist if you're even thinking about it.
Yep. It's better to be to have that opportunity available for yourself. Go ahead.
You might have mentioned it already. So, are we going to provide objective markers, or what should people use for objective markers?
That is a great question. If you go ahead and take a look at that document, the everybody who plays, and I'll go ahead and I'll pull that up one more time. Everybody who plays, if we scroll down to the prizes, everyone is receiving a set of Adepticon objective markers and a range 1.5 ruler. Everybody gets one, and that's going to be handed out. Basically, you check in. Hi, my name is Marcel Manzano. Your lists, please. Thank you. And the person next will be like, here's your objectives. Kronk 5. Here's your ruler. There you go. And the hope is, since both you and your opponent will have gotten 5, that hopefully by the end of the day, between the two of you, you got at least 5. You got 10. There's 10 out there between you and your opponent. Hopefully you got 5.
Yeah, you may want to say, because I think in the participation text, it has extended art, heroic, and fanatical, and 1 prize ticket per game, but it doesn't say those tokens.
Oh, yeah, that's a great. You know what? Literally can fix that right now. Let's do it. Doing it live, baby.
Yeah, we're going to be playing for what do they call it? Playing for title, or how do they do it in the racing ones? playing for papers, playing for
Playing for
tokens.
pinks.
Playing for pinks. There you go.
Pink slips.
Like whoever wins gets one of the other people's tokens.
Tokens. That's brutal. Participation. This would be 5 objective
You can bet them, Marcel.
tokens
I like that.
and a 1.5 range ruler. Thank you for reminding me for that.
Yep, and that's one thing. So I know a lot of people have been testing this out on TTS, and thank the developers who've been updating it. The automatic middle objective placer has been awesome. Take some time to actually do that in person before you get to Adepticon, since you're gonna have to do that for every single game you even chance encounter. Know where the middle objective is going to be and how to use it.
I'm gonna glue 18 range rulers together. Oh, wait, no, I only need 6. 6 range rulers together.
You're gonna make
Just
the
set it down.
The TTS grid.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, there's the epic ones swivel, right?
Yep.
They'll spread out the rulers. It'll work.
Here's my suggestion. Not only try it. There was a pretty long thread that I saw, like 4.5 isn't the actual perfect center, and what if the mat isn't the exact right size? The reality is that mats shrink, stretch. 4.5 gets you real close. So what you do, you and your opponent go ahead and measure that 4.5. Okay, I'm just doing it with 2 range 3 rulers. Okay, you measure that 4.5 on both sides. Put it as close to the middle as possible. All right, you guys aren't dummies. You guys can do it. All right, you set it that way. Go from the edge now. Adjust that way. Double check. You're ready to go. Like it's not that hard. It's not the end of the world. I promise y'all gonna be okay. Get it as close as possible. Because the reality, and somebody asked, like, can you like pre-mark the mats? They're not my mats. I cannot pre-mark them. And also it's not feasible to have my team members pre-measuring that and like putting stickers on mat. Like it's just not a feasible thing to end up doing. I believe in you. We'll be okay. I have to have the faith. Otherwise, I would have given up long ago on this Adepticon thing. Because man, it's been a lot of work. And to answer the question, there is a resistance damage deck. They just didn't include the picture. All right. So that's Adepticon stuff. Let's go ahead and let's get into some X-Wing philosophy, some ideas here. What we got new rules, right? All kinds of stuff. Like I said, we had the Cherokee Open, which I do want to hit before we end today, but I think this is probably going to end up being the beefiest part of our episode. I would like to know your guys' initial thoughts, reactions, worries, room for improvement, things you could see end up being tweaked. Like I want to try to take as constructive of a look at this. We can talk about it emotionally, but I also want to see if we can be constructive, because I think in both. There's ways to get lost in both sides of, like, this is the best thing ever, and also being like, this is the worst thing ever. Like, let's try to go ahead and piece this apart. So how many games have you got? I know I personally have only played 2. How many have you played, Marcel? I played
like
2 in person. You played 2 in person.
Only 2 in person, and I've done like 7 online.
7 online. Ryan?
Yeah.
I have done 2 online and spectated a whole bunch of friends, but that's it.
Okay, Will?
He's counting toes. He's at the cut.
Yeah, you're muted.
Still muted.
I'm unmuted now. That's okay, because the things I was saying to myself did not matter. I got 0 in person right now. Trying to change that. But I got about maybe 7 or 8 online over the past week.
All right. cool. So some mixed experience. I have had the least number of games because I've been over here grinding away trying to get these rules done for y'all. But so I have only the two scenarios that I've played. This is what I want to hit for next. The two scenarios I've played are Salvage Mission, which is you're taking the satellites and you're claiming them and you carry them with your ship, and then there is Assault on the Satellite Array where it's a King of the Hill. You're controlling the area around it.
Okay, so you played pick up the objective and stay nearby objectives.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dion had the crates, I think is what you're missing. You used satellite in the first one in terms of the thing.
I know there's two different
crate.
objectives.
Oh yeah, crate. Yeah.
Or tow. Yeah.
But yeah, pick it up or stay by it.
All right. So Marcel, have you played all the objectives already?
No, I have not played Chance Encounter because my guess is that one's probably closest to like a regular game, and I've been trying to get rounds in with the
weird ones.
Yeah. So I've done 9 at like, I think the one I've done most is the one where you claim, like you take an action to claim it, and then somebody else can take an action, rolls a die, and they have to roll a hit or a focus to take it from you. So that's the one I've done the most.
Okay, Will.
I've actually done the pickup one the fewest. I always end up playing the stay by your objectives one.
That's the Assault on the Satellite Array.
Yeah, I think I've been playing the Assault the most, which is fine because I don't like some of them, but I like that one actually.
Oh yeah, I definitely. There's no way we could like them all for sure. Ryan.
So happens that I've just played Assault on the Satellite Array twice, just because there's the first one I tried, and then the second one I had was just random roll, just happened to be the same one.
Yeah.
That one is which one?
The King of the Hill.
The
one like
stay by
one.
it.
Just, yeah,
Be
well,
range
you
one.
can't claim
Okay.
it. It's just end phase, most ships. So, I think what I've watched the most while talking with friends while they play was the crate one, the oddball salvage mission.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Now, so I've only played the two. So Marcel, I think it sounds like you probably have had the most mix of them. You and Will. Which one was? But you haven't played Chance Encounter yet. So from the 3 different ones, which one was your least favorite?
I would say the least favorite is probably the. It's a close tie between the crate one, the one you claim it, or the one you carry it with you for very specific reasons. The King of the Hill one, or the one that you just got to be within range of one, was probably a little better than the other two.
Okay.
And I'll get into details later on.
Oh yeah, of course.
Details, yeah.
Will.
Yeah, actually, I would. The first time I played the cargo one, I didn't like it at first. But the second time I played it, I did. I think we got the rules right, and I started seeing the fun interactions of like getting your opponent to jump the crates. But the one I don't like the claim. I think the claim one is the one that has the potential to end the fastest, like win on mission points. Because if you can lock down 3 of them, and then kill a ship, you win in 4 rounds, pretty much every time.
So that is just so we can use the names here. So you're talking about Scramble the Transmissions, I believe, right?
Scramble the Transmissions. Yes,
I got my binder. Listen, I'm ready for Adepticon.
You
gotta make it
right,
like more memorable.
We do need.
Can we call it scrambled eggs?
Can we just sort them to one word?
So scramble,
Scrambled eggs.
assault, salvage.
Assault. salvage. I love those. So let's just go one word on. So the
Scramble.
scramble. Scramble is where you claim. I don't. Something needs to change in that one because it, like I said, I feel like Marcel. I think you're the same. Had the same experience that you. If you can claim 3, and then just go fight your opponent, fight them where they can't get to the other 3 that you claimed in time.
Yeah, just do the
You
math.
win really
Let's just
easily.
do the math. You do. Let's assume you don't have a system phase boost, and you can reach the center of the board in 2
You do it
turns,
with regular
not in 1
boost.
turn. No, because with regular boost, I'm talking about the one, like an example, the one that
Because
you
you
have
need
to
the
take the action to
action.
take it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would
So you
need like
need
a
to be an
system phase
Aether Sprite
boost.
or an Ada.
Yeah,
Or a
A
B Wing or
A-wing or something with
an A-Wing?
afterburners. Or something with
Sure.
afterburners. Afterburners basically makes
Okay,
everyone
okay.
able to do that. So assuming you get the second round is when you get your third one, your third objective. That means 2 on the first round and then 3 every round after that. That means in 7 rounds, at the end of 7 rounds, the game is over because 2 and then 3 times 6 is 18. So that's 20 points. You get 20 points. Now, if the opponent has 2 at the end of 7 rounds, they're going to have 14 points. That means that there's a 7-round timer for the opponent in that particular one because you don't drop it until you get killed, right? So
No, they have to reclaim it.
They got to reclaim it.
yeah, I know, but you don't drop it. Like I'm saying, you will continue to collect. Those
Oh, yeah,
points
you
as
just
get
keep
killed
collecting
or
them.
land the crit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get 7 rounds of game, just because you're going to claim the middle one will be claimed by
One of the 2
by the
sides,
second
right?
turns. Yeah. So you get 7 rounds of play with 3 points in the winner. The loser or the one who is only having 2 objectives by the end of those 7 rounds has 14 points. That means in order to tie at the end of 7 turns, the losing team has to kill 6 points of the team that's collected 3 objectives, right? Because that's what'll get you to like 20 points at the same time, unless you kill the one that's carrying the ship. I mean, the one that's carrying the thing. But again, it's a timer. So that one and the one that you claim the objectives, they unlike the one where you have the contested area of the, you have like 2 of them, so it's 0 points. Like that one has the potential to give you 0 points and extend the game out a little bit longer. The other ones, you're basically, unless you roll a blank when you're trying to steal it from someone, you're basically adding a total of 5 points a turn when the max is 40. So you're adding 5 points a turn when 40 is the potential max if both sides get 20. So that's what 7 rounds is maximum in those. And if you kill one ship, a 3-point ship, then it's 6 rounds. If you kill something like Luke Skywalker, then it's 5 rounds. And that's just the mathematics behind it. It's just the countdown timer does not get to 12 in those because there's only, you're continuously giving out points. Again, with the one where you're not capture the flag, in I forgot what we called it, but the one that
Salvage.
salvage. In salvage, it's a little bit differently because you're going to have a lot more uncontested because you either have to stay in that vicinity and keep one of your ships away, or you're going to have like two ships and it's going to end up being 0 points. So that one.
No, you're talking about assault.
No,
You're talking about
just talking
assault.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones that you have the opportunity to have
Yeah.
unclaimed because either the ship that's hanging out has to come and join your fight, or there's a big mix in the middle and it's kind of a lot of potentially 0 point scenarios because you have 2 and 2 or something like that. Or there's a lot more swapping between one or the other as ships move around, and so that one I think is probably the best scenario in the regard that you don't have a continuous countdown timer, which again, if you only have 7 rounds maximum, that means that if you build a beefy jousting list to basically just say my goal is to claim 3 objectives and then force the inferior jousting one to come at me because I don't have to do anything. I'm going to win in 7 rounds guaranteed. You got to come at me. So then that becomes it becomes kind of a snowball effect where the superior jousting list will capture the 3 flags because they joust. They're basically just going straight at them, and then they're holding the fort, um, basically waiting for you to try to kill it. And again, if you have some of the lists like the list that I played last 2 or 3 times already, and I'm 1 in 4 rounds, were 2 B wings with trajectory simulator and bombs, Magvara, whatever, the U wing, so that the U wing's good at like capturing the one where you got to be within range 1 because it counts as 2. 2 A wings and Lieutenant Blunt. So that's 6 ships. One of them is medium base. 2 A wings basically can go and do like the fast forward 5 to capture the flags early, and then run around with back arcs with vector thrusters. Then you have the beefy B wings that can kind of contest the middle, and you have the U wing.
Marcel, if you love rear arcs and B wings, let me tell you what. I got a list for you here coming up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I'm just saying a list like that has 3 super tanky ships, which is 2 B wings and a U wing, 2 fast ships to be able to do the other type of objectives, and then you have Lieutenant Blunt for 2 points, just basically throwing up space more than anything, right? Those kind of lists are going to dominate in most scenarios, and in order to beat it, you either have to get lucky with the dice a little bit, or you have to have a list that jousts better, or that can. It's hard to alpha strike a U wing or a B wing. You might be able to kill an A wing, but again, you have 6 ships. So, and then I think we saw that kind of stuff in Cherokee when we go through it, where there was a lot of I think the winning list was very beefy B wings with trajectory simulator and that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's my point. Is just that I don't think anything is necessarily broken, in that I think the objectives can work if you kind of give the list that wants to maybe get into a good position to kill things mid game, and then at late game is like, okay, now you have fewer ships. Now I can go collect objectives and kill you, or just outright kill you if you up the victory points to like 25 or 30 in specifically those scenarios that end really fast. Or the other thing as well, if you just tone down the power level of the 6 and 7 ship lists, because right now the 6 and 7 ship lists are outrageously loaded out. You're usually getting, the second place in Cherokee Open was seven ships, all of them named, all of them with either fire control system or torpedoes and I mean all kinds of fun toys. And you got 7 named pilots with additional points for upgrades. It's just, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's just a lot of.
The one of the things that I definitely observed a lot of people talking about was the a lot of people like to throw out the word balance. I think part of it is right. The goal of AMG, they said they really want to focus on the name pilots, that the generics are literally filler. Because I know some people are like, why would this name pilot and this generic be the same points? It doesn't make any sense to take it. Why wouldn't you just take the ability? And that's, I think, literally AMG's going, exactly, take the one with the ability. I think that's what they want. I think the question is that's going to take definitely tournament data. Like if 7 ships, 8 ships, let's say that's all that ends up making the cut at Adepticon. That's an obvious sign to AMG. All right, turns out we got to turn up the points on everything and make it so you can fit less ships in, right? They're going to have to find the adjustment, because with such a big change to the list building, I don't think that they think they have it. I would hope not. But I do not think that the points are right, and it's going to take more data than what small groups of playtesters are going to be able to figure out. I think right now they're close, or not even close. They have their first draft. This is what we got. We got the first draft, and they said on their last cast where they were together that if they see something's wrong, that they're gonna fix it. Like they're like, we'll fix it when we see it. We're gonna get it. This is gonna be their chance over time to see if it's right or if it's wrong. Because right now, I think somebody said it's Hero Wing. I agree. It definitely is Hero Wing. Everybody gets to do everything. Will?
So I was going to say one thing before I forget.
Yeah.
So I said that it wasn't broken, and I don't think it is. I actually think the objectives are fun. I think that just right now, the way that they're built, you cut out the end game. You have a beginning and a mid game, and it ends at the mid game because you don't have the ship that's trailing to have the opportunity to make a comeback. And I said, just real quick, so 2 potential ways to solve it, I believe, would be to either raise the victory points significantly, maybe to about 30.
The mission points. The mission point requirement, yeah.
Yeah, the mission points in order to get to victory.
Mm-hmm.
Or reduce the objective count from, and I think that would actually be more interesting, from 5 objectives to 3 objectives. That way you have, each side has the potential of just being, 2 points, maybe 1 every turn, and that will not extend that'll extend the number of rounds because you have 2 less objective points going every round. So either up the max number of points needed to win, or lower the objectives from 5 to 3. Keep the same rules on all of them, but just I think that might give you the end game piece that I know a lot of people, when I said that felt like it was too fast and missing an end game, I got a lot of pushback from people that I would talk to saying like, no, I like it. That means you got 4 rounds of straight destruction. Great, but I didn't want 4 rounds of straight destruction. I want to kind of outmaneuver a little bit and fly around the edges and do old X-Wing stuff. My member berries. So anyway, I think just wanted to point that out, that those 2 things, either one of those 2 things, I think might make a significant difference in how fast the game's end.
Cool. Ryan, we haven't heard from you yet.
So in the games I played, I definitely what I thought for this for a while, what objectives are going to push was a better thought on your turn 0, because the objectives are forcing things to engage quicker, because, well, at least as of now, players are currently going for the objectives very fast, which as of now is working. There could be ways to bait people in certain ones. Some people who might overreach for that middle objective in certain matchups and get themselves caught out and killed, so that one objective point that they got isn't worth the health and entire ship that they just lost. And I think people just are slowly trying to figure things out and adapting. It's very different, very, very different. Because you don't have the time to sort of reset yourself and go from your deployment to however you want to spread out your list, or the turns of toilet bowling, right? You got to be more right in deployment and where you're placing your ships in turn 0 to better set yourself up for the game. So in my mind, when I see games going faster, it's because we're not getting the 3 to 4 turns of toilet bowling and repositioning yourself, where the higher initiative ships have better advantage of that anyway. Or also, on the other end of it, the other jousting swarm list that used to have the higher final salvo count was just able to run across up and down the board edge and just say, you have to come fight me or I win the game, right?
Right.
Now you have to actually go somewhere and do something, interact with each other. So if you recall, you had done tests with Patrick on game length, an average turn it took to get a complete game. That ended, about 11 or 12 was kind of the average maximum?
11, it had gone down to 9.
It gone down to 9 in second edition, right?
Yeah.
Tracked about 3 to 4 turns of that, and what do we have now that's close to what we're seeing? Some a little faster than others.
Mm-hmm.
If the average turn game length was 9, and it already had accounted for the average toilet bowl style effect that we saw, sometimes it didn't flush completely in a circle, sometimes it only went in, there was different charts made. But it ended average around 9. And that was with the idea of that there's an end game scenario. And a lot of times, by the time the mid game was there, it was mostly decided. There was some comebacks that could be made for sure. But with this forcing sort of that early go, that's not there anymore. And that means you need to be more correct on turn 0. You need to think about your placements of the obstacles around the objectives more. Every upgrade and ability that is like has a certain amount to it, like only 1 use or 2 use, their value's gone up a lot because your turns are less. The value of controlling a ship, ioning a ship, doing something that causes it a disruptive mode in a turn up, right? Anything that used to have a small game effect now is much more drastic. So a lot of new discovery. We're in week 1, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the things that I don't like so far are the major one thing is that the range 0 attacks can be modified by force and can be modified by stuff like wedge attacking, and the defending ship gets 1 less agility.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm read, I just want it to be like, just have your regular attack and not affecting anything the defender does. No force, no nothing. That feels like what the intent was. It's just meant to be a bad attack. Now it just tells me like, all right, so like force is just keep finding as much force as you can. Not that force is gonna be the overarching like this is 100% because of this.
It'd be a shame if
really
that force shooters got a replacement defensive effect for shooting that range 0 as well, right? Bump into you, get a focus for defense, still have force for offense.
Yeah. So there are definitely some rough edges that I want kind of smoothed out, but I'm still pretty excited for everything that it is. Maybe some of the scenarios need to go up to have their point total increase just to account for that. Maybe there's some different mechanics they can play out with, but everything I've seen, I'm very happy with. I just think people are just getting adjusted to the environment of you're engaging sooner. So if you want to have a flanker, you need to pick a board edge and hope you're one of the last ships being placed down. If you're not, then the other person may decide to play some other stuff across from it and be like, all right, if you want to flank, you're going to fight me along the way.
Mm-hmm. I will say the faster feel of the game does remind me more of I'm gonna say Squadrons, because that's like the closest thing where it's like, no, yeah, you're flying at each other. That's what you're gonna that's what you're gonna do, right? And I think increasing the score would give that balance of because the question will be as a community, right? You take the community desire plus the design goal, and if you have more turns of what I'm going to call active play, you can possibly, but you're shortening the overall game, right? Because you're taking away the toilet bowling is what you're calling it, or the repositioning, that finding the lane. Increasing the points would kind of be that balance of maybe I get to play longer games and also have to do the objectives. Because if you only canoodle in the corner and be like, I'm gonna find my perfect spot, and you're like, well, I won the game because you took too long, right? Like there is going to be an optimal turn to get going, and I think with time we're going to have to we'll figure it out. I mean, right? That's as a gaming community, we're always trying to find that optimal lane. Now, go ahead.
Can I? And I think something else that's just compounding the length of the game to being shorter, and you say, well, I went to time. Yeah, you went to time after 4 or 5 rounds. I think also just with the power creep that we have again with 6, 7 ships, or even if you have 4 ships or 5 ships, but they're loaded out, to high heaven, and each ship, even if they're in the same chassis, have a different loadout, different pilot ability, because again, the generics aren't really good anymore. Maybe the A-wing generics are probably one of the only good ones. But for the most part, generics are not very good. So you have a pilot ability, and then you have a ton of different loadouts, and each loadout is unique to the ship versus unique to the chassis now. So you have this thing where you have, like 5 cards, pilot cards, and then you have 15, 18 upgrade cards, and then you have more dials. So the length and setup is longer. And when I mean setup, I'm talking about the setup from the time that you arrive to the table, because now you're like, okay, what does that guy do, and what does that guy do, and what is this ability? Just explaining back and forth, and understanding what your opponent's list is going to take longer because you got more ships to cover, plus you got more upgrades to cover, and then in between rounds. Again, it's more of trying to remember different triggers and trying to remember, okay, is this ship the one with this? They look the same. They're both B-wings, but one has a torpedo and the other one has a bomb. It's just that I think also adds a little bit of lull in the game, like downtime. If you wanted the game to be fast and exciting, usually as you want to play more and you want to think less is not the right word, but you want to spend less time in the stuff that's not actual playing. Again, that's in the setup. You're going to take more time to put the objectives down. You're going to take more time because now you've got asteroids plus objectives, and then you're going to take more time understanding the opponent's lists, and then in the game itself you're going to take more time yourself just figuring out, like, okay, what do I want to do, what does the opponent want to do, and it's just a matter of how much can you memorize. You're not going to memorize everything, especially when you're playing 6 opponents in a turn. Even if you're only playing like at a league night, just a lot to remember. I mean, 20 upgrades was just what we're seeing now. 15, 20 upgrades, 5, 6 ships, and each ship has a unique pilot ability. It's a lot to remember.
Well, AMG did say that missed opportunities are a thing now, and thank God.
Yeah, they are.
The number of cards that are going to be on the table.
yeah. But again, I think that's also lowering the amount of time. You might get to 75 minutes or 78 minutes or 72, whatever it is now. So you might get to the end of the game and only be in turn 5, not because you guys engaged slowly or you guys skirted the board. It's just because there's a whole lot more to do. And I also think we need to consider, for tournaments like Adepticon, increasing the amount of time for setup from 15 minutes to maybe like 20 minutes. Just because, again, there's more stuff to do. There's more to understand. There's more to carry around physically. There's more to... and back to Ryan's earlier point about how much space, I know he was talking about it for social distancing purposes, but we also need to consider how much space do we make available, because now if you're carrying around 30 upgrades, again, 7 pilots and then 20 upgrades, just the amount of space that's needed either on the side of the board or in the in the couple inches. Usually you get like 4 inches between each side, so that amount of space we just need to consider as well, like where are you going to put all your stuff. So those are all things that as a tournament, I just thought about that, but as a tournament organizer, you're just going to have to consider like longer setup times and more physical space to put just more physical stuff that we got to carry now. And from a game perspective, it's just the more ships, the more upgrades, the more things you got to do. And remember, just the longer it's going to take from planning phase to end of round each time.
Yeah, I was gonna make that point. If you didn't, the table space is at a premium right now. And also, I forgot the other thing I gotta hate. Why did you let Trajectory Simulator exist in the faction with Sabine? Stop it! Don't.
I don't know why.
So Marcel, it doesn't matter that it was like. It doesn't matter what the chassis was, right? It's just the fact that B-wings have the sensor slot and they gave them bombs. And you were like, but like I thought trajectory sim might have been banned just in case. Like before we saw the loadout differences, the expectation for Black Box was the only capable trajectory sim ship was going to be the bombardment drone in Separatists.
Bombardment drone. That's right. Is the B-wing the only trajectory right now in standard?
That's a good question. Let me quickly check bombardment drone.
Open up the Yasby.
Bombardment drone lost their sensor.
They even,
No, but they can still drop out of the front.
Yeah, they can still drop out the front, but
that doesn't
like
That's not a trajectory though.
quite the same
That's
as
a different.
trajectory
a
simulator
proton bomb.
existing is still kind of met as it is. Republic R2D2 could take it. Vagabond mentioned that since R2D2 gained a sensor slot.
Oh, that's
what other faction
true.
can, which would have
Legal.
been like kind of okay, but they let it in the faction with that has all the B wings almost have access to it and have Sabine crew stances. I feel like, and I was really surprised just because the mechanic of the scenarios being in the middle of the board and people and things wanting to be there. I thought just for the sake of future development of new ships and new upgrades, that they would just ban trajectory simulator, not have to worry about it. That was one thing that was missing from the ban list that I would have really liked gone.
On my short list of expect to be banned next is trajectory simulator. I wanted to talk about it.
Is it because B-wings are slow, so they're like terrible at getting like across the map?
It honestly
Is
could
that
be
what-
any ship. Because trajectory simulator exists and bombs and the area effect with scenarios, that hurts. What hurts further is the Sabine crew that has all these side effects that could really make it bad. And
trajectory you
they're in the
into,
same
say,
faction right now.
more bombs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why Rebels never got trajectory in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, that
That's
was our assumption. Yeah, like for
Yeah,
that,
because
for that
you
balance.
can drop one. I mean, hit one bomb, so assign the tractor, push to the next bomb, and then assign something else. Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely a couple of people are talking about like canonically. I think honestly a lot of the decisions on the slots was literally like what happened in Star Wars. Like that was like the base. And we're gonna feel the growing pains for that for sure.
Also, coin terming him, tragedies. Tragedies. That's what they are. Tragedies.
Tragedies. Oh man, what won the tournament? Tragedies. We had a tragedy. I like it. Yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening there. We don't know. We don't know when it comes to the trajectory simulator. Now, what I want to ask now is, AMG. I think they're the thing that they focused on the most was, did you have fun when playing the scenarios? So let's just go there. Did you have a good time? Obviously, it wasn't the same X-Wing. It is a different game. What was the analogy that you used, Marcel? Like, it was still soda, but it's a different flavor. I forget. You went Coke to Sprite.
I was drinking ginger ale, so I think it was ginger ale and Coke.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's definitely different. It is definitely different. Will, did you have fun?
I do have fun playing those scenarios. Yes, I do.
Ryan?
Yes, I had fun. New things to think about while I played the game.
Marcel?
Yes, but significantly less fun each replay. So the first few games were fun. The ones that we played in person at the store, probably mostly because I was playing in person at the store. And then every game after that got a little less fun. I even shared with you guys, like, I think in a couple of the games I was sharing with you guys, like, 4 turns, 27 points. 4 turns, 23 points. 5 rounds, 25 points. Like, I think I shared a couple of those screenshots. So I got a little bit discouraged the more games I played. Yesterday night I played my Jank Tank game, and I have to say it was the most fun I've had in X-Wing in the last couple of weeks, playing the 2.0 Jank Tank game. So
And I find it interesting that you haven't taken the time to play Chance Encounter, because I think you know, the one of the goals that they said that they have is they want each objective to definitely feel a little bit different, be different fun. And the reality is that chance encounter just might be your jam, right? And
It might, but I was purposely trying to do the objectives because the chance encounter is basically a dogfight with 1 point to toss around.
Right.
It's more like an epic match because you're flying with a 300-point list, but still, it's like a dogfight, an epic match in a 3x3 mat.
Right.
So that's why I didn't play it, and I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy that one more. I don't think it'll be 9 rounds because because of the amount of stuff that you can do. It'll probably still be 5 or 6 rounds. But the winner, I think, will be. I'm not playing it because I know I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy it, and I'm trying to see the objectives to honestly give genuine feedback. I'm not trying to hate. I'm trying to. That's why. That's why I prefaced it by saying I think the objectives work. They just need to tweak they need to have an end game. Right now they don't have an end game because if you're down in the middle of the game, you lost.
Right.
So they do work. So anyway, to your answer, yes, I've had fun. I've had fun in every game, but it's been a diminishing amount of fun after every time because it feels repetitive.
Okay. All right. I like it. I say again, I've only played 2 games, so I haven't had a chance for it to be repetitive yet because I haven't even played all the scenarios yet. But I had a good time. I found it challenging. I will say, going back to what you guys were saying, let me make sure I say the right one. Scramble the objectives. Scramble the transmissions. That was the one when I read it that definitely seemed potentially the least enjoyable. That's the one I want to actually try when this Wednesday when I play, for the reason you said, that it does put it on a timer, and maybe their design is this is going to be the shortest of all the objectives. Right, if we kind of put them in order from potential speed, you have probably scramble the objectives as the fastest and chance engagement as the slowest. Do you guys feel that? Is that about right?
Yeah, I'd probably say the crates maybe the second slowest.
The salvage mission.
So when you're saying slowest, like which one?
So
how many rounds would it take to get to 20 points?
The least round is the one that you carry it with you. The second least rounds is the one that you claim it. The third least is the one that you have to be within range 1 and you're contesting it. And the one that gives you the most rounds is the chance encounter. And again, that's just because of the math of how when you claim it, you're not contesting it. Somebody is getting that. The only way to not get that point is if somebody takes an action and rolls a blank. So that's the only way that you
rolls
don't
a blank.
Yeah, like the one that you.
So when you try to flip the objective on scramble, you have to roll a dice. If you get any result other than a blank, it's yours. If it's a blank, it goes neutral, so that no one gets a point from that one. But it's at least turned off.
So that's got a possibility of giving a 0 point, but the possibility is much lower than the one where you have to be within range 1 to capture the flag.
I think there's a case where the crate one might take the same amount of time as the range 0 one, because there's the chance that the ship may opt to dropping it to be able to do something, or force to drop it from crit results.
In the game that I played. In the rules for that one, for salvage mission, it says if you execute a red maneuver, you have to drop it, right? It tells you that you can't do it, but obviously it's I can, I'll just drop it, right? Essentially is the way that ends up working. That happened several times in the game. It's like I gotta bust a K turn here. Gonna let it go.
Is that I actually never got an answer on that one. I had played it as just like, if you dialed in the K-turn, you just drop the cargo, but then there's really no penalty for picking up the cargo, though. Other than you took an action to score a point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not red maneuvers. Excuse me. It's advanced maneuvers.
Advanced maneuvers.
Advanced maneuvers. Yeah, you just drop it. Your opponent chooses.
Is that what it means by you're forced to?
Yeah, you're forced to do it. I think they're encouraging you not to do it, not to do them. But if it happens accidentally, which means you can use it strategically. You say, "I'm going to do a cage." Oops? Question mark.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
wait, no. Chris Allen has been doing some Adepticon rules clarifications in some discords, and the way it's read is you cannot execute an advanced maneuver while you're holding it. So it's not
No?
a force drop. You keep it and do a stress maneuver, which is the white.
Yeah.
Straight.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's how I played it the second time, is that you just could not even dial it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that chip is out, and that's where list building really again gets a little bit more narrow. I think in the when you got the ones with the A wings, that's what I've been flying B wings doing, and A wings. The A wings will take those, or the ones with the Naboo fighters, they just like, all right, I'm just gonna pick it up and zoom away. A bunch of 3 agility stuff, and I think there's also a list that's been flying a lot in Europe where it's 7 A wings, 6 of them with crack shot. They're basically built to dominate objectives. They might lose the other stuff, but
So I'm sorry. Just to go back to salvage mission, the issue, my only issue with that as a ruling is that is not what it says here.
What does it say there?
It doesn't say anything about a stress maneuver.
No,
but
what does it
does
say though?
specifically say that it cannot perform advanced maneuvers.
Right. You're correct on that. But then it also has this sentence that says if a ship must perform an advanced maneuver, it immediately jettisons its supply cache as described above. In what other scenario must you commit an advanced maneuver or perform an advanced maneuver if it's not on your dial?
Actually, so a good example is an HMP is carrying a cache and must execute a side slip, which is an advanced maneuver.
Uh-huh.
So this is where the follow-up rule must be performed. HMP states that you must execute that maneuver as an advanced maneuver. So in these cases, the HMP would still perform the advanced maneuver as stated in this.
All right. Well, I'll have to get together with and just ask, be like, guys, what's the plan? What's the plan here? Please tell me, because that definitely can cause some confusion there. So we're gonna have to solve that. We got 4 weeks to figure it out. I promise. We'll figure it all out.
So basically what that means is like a defender would not be able to do the 4K because that's
correct.
Still an advanced maneuver. Yep.
You can't stop or back up.
Is an advanced
can't
slam
talon roll?
considered an advanced maneuver because it's got
Can't slam.
advanced?
You can't slam.
It's
It just said
written in the
it's
rules.
called
Written
out.
down there? Okay, got it.
Yep.
Yep. So that would be probably rewindable, or that would be rewind. All right, yeah, we're gonna have to get a clarification on that, and you can also not be coordinated, and that's why actually we can talk about our experience when we played that one, Marcel. The player tokens are going to matter. I know we at first tried to play like, oh, we'll just grab the cargo and just like put it next to the ship, it'll be fine.
Wow.
There was several times like, wait, was this down here or is it mine? That happened a couple times in the game, but also just to have some type of marker to show that you have it. So please put them on the ship cards, and at the very least, if you don't have player tokens, just count them when it's point time off of the player cards. But you really should be using the player tokens
because you want to give the opponent the visual cue
that you have
okay,
it.
which one is not only that you have it, is which one of your ships.
Oh man,
is carrying.
It'll be even cooler is if there was a small way you could actually like poke the peg size hole for the dial, so you never forget. You take an objective token and kind of fit it around the little peg space on your dial, so like you set the crate on your dial. That ship has it. Because a lot of times you get charge tokens, you get focus tokens around your ship, or where your cards are.
Yeah, honestly, just
the dial you always pick up and look at. So
just bring 10 pennies with you And I mean, ultimately, you don't need a token. Just get anything. Just go in your pocket, find some lint. As just something that's noticeable and it'll work. It doesn't have to be fancy.
You have 5 to 8 pieces of noticeable lint in your pockets. Clean your pockets, man.
No, I'm saving it for Adepticon.
I like it. Oh man, lint meta. There it is. X-Wing Tavern Wars # lint meta. Yeah. So we have these new rules. Some of the other things. Let's go ahead and talk about the change. We talked about the scenarios here a little bit. Let's talk about the change to list building. We've been talking around it. We're building to 20. Every ship, basically that's named, gets a slew of upgrade slots. The overall power level of the game, some have said, has gone up tremendously. There's people comparing like this list now costs this legal list would have cost X number of points in the previous, with the record being over 250.
You can get up to almost 300.
You can get almost 300. There you go.
Not quite almost. Not
get
quite
over 300.
9,000, but
I think
you
the
almost get to
7A
300.
wings, the 7A wings are over 300, and then also the 7 Republic, the 3 Naboo, 3 V wings and Barris is over 300. I think there's the record right now is at 318. I think somebody shared a 318 list. That's the record.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. But now here's a question, and Matt B, it kind of a less elegant way to say it, but we're comparing this new 2.5 points to 2.0, and we're doing that for our reference, right? Because that's what we knew. That's the world we've come from. We went from essentially since the beginning of X-Wing, because the second edition points were simply a ×2 of the original points. This is a brand new scale. So because the power level for everybody has gone up, it's really hard to try to find useful data, but to find data that's going to be relevant. But I do think it's interesting to compare it.
The way to say it is, this is from Megamind, I think it's from The Incredibles. From The Incredibles, Pixar or DreamWorks.
Oh movie. Yeah, that's Pixar.
If everyone's special, nobody is.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody gets the toys.
So if everyone's at 280 or 300, then does it really matter? Because you're playing against other people that are at comparable strength. So it's the power creep is not so far in that. For people who know how to build a list and they've built it, that have that backward memory, I think where it becomes a little bit of a problem is if you get a newer player, because back in the day, like 2 weeks ago when we had different point system,
long ago,
you get somebody that's new to X-Wing and shows up with like a 130 point Luke Skywalker, and like 2 other ships. So you're like, oh, okay, now it's going to get destroyed because it's got a 130 point Luke Skywalker. That's still going to be the case because you're going to have somebody show up with ships that they don't have the frame of reference of knowing like, oh, this used to be really good. Now it's 3 points. They're just going to look at all right, this is 3 points and this is 3 points. And then the upgrade points, somebody who's not as familiar with playing that many games will probably put very garbage upgrades. And now you have somebody with 280 points worth of garbage upgrades against somebody with 300 points worth of highly optimized meta wing.
Well, I would my only argument to that. I mean, I agree. My only argument is that that's always happened. You always have, there's always players that they have a curve. They're like, I really want to try this out, and you say, hey, you go for it. You play the chill games with them, and that's the other adjustment that I think we'll have to make is our approach for teaching new players will have to be different because previously, right, you'd say, hey, slap 4 X-Wings on the table. Don't worry about upgrade. Let's go. Let's play the game. Now, you can technically still do that. You just got to make sure that you're matching them with a comparable squad, and you layer it on. Teaching word, you scaffold the information. All right, now we're going to go ahead and so we're going to add upgrades now, and you dish it out piece by piece, which you should have been doing with new players anyway. But yeah, I definitely would agree with you, Marcel, that the information that we've lived through will give us that experience. We've earned that, is my point. Okay, we've gone through the pain. All right, we've lived through it. And oh my God, the number of hull and shield upgrades that are going to be out there. Look forward to all those moments.
Hull and shield on everything.
Hull and shield, everybody gets it.
So being A-wing with hull and shield is nice.
And man,
Crazy.
a lot of those 4 health ships can get up to 6 now. Wow, if they feel very
Vonreg,
different,
right?
Vonreg can get up to 6. They can get hull and shield. Yeah, there's man. Vader, X1s, they can go up to 7. It's pretty impressive.
Thick. Looking thick.
7 point. I'm a defender now. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And one of the criticisms that I've seen, and I'm not going to argue with it, but it's an interesting thing, is like, oh, the list will become too complicated. One of the things I took the time to do once I saw the change to list building is I went ahead and took a look at other war games that exist, and for some of these war games, you have to have like books, like tomes of information for what that person's list does. And ultimately my conclusion was, is it more complex than it was? Yes. Is it too complex? Nah. I think that it's fine. I doubt that AMG went in. I would doubt that their thought at any point was this list building is going to be too complicated for them. I think they think that we're smart, and that might be a mistake, but they think it.
Don't remember what you said 10 minutes ago, so no. I think they were way off.
Yeah, we'll see. And there you go. Arum Fish says, Warhammer 40K, I have 4 to 5 books for an army. Exactly. So I think we'll be all right. And I am excited, going back to Adepticon, because all this rolls around. I'm excited to see what people... Guys, I want you to break Adepticon. Please do. Come to Adepticon and you play your best. You come to crush. You're like, hey, I found this list that I think will crush everybody. Please do. Please do. Because in that meeting I had with AMG, I said, do you guys want data? They were like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's get you some data. And if it turns out, I'll just throw something out. Everybody brings a trajectory B-Wings, and that's the entire top 16, they'll know there's a problem, right? So let us identify the problem by breaking the game, and they said that they would make it right, and then we have to hold them to that. So
it wouldn't really be at Adepticon without it, right?
Correct. It is history, all right? We got to hold up to
things
history.
Get broken. Triple jumps, quad phantoms, handbrake on, first edition in general.
Yeah.
So would not be surprised.
Old Gray Rat says, but will they? They said that they would.
I actually think that one of the things that we should give a lot of credit to AMG for is just their speed. And this is, I know they took a long time to do the first rounds, but not their speed. That's not the right word. Their cojones to basically change stuff and be like, nope, this ain't working, let's cut it, or we don't like this. And again, regardless of where you stand on whether you like it or don't like it, like they're willing to rock the boat, and they're willing to make changes, and they're willing to make changes on the fly, even if they don't have like the documentation, the erratas and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I do feel confident in. That's why when early on when we're saying like, is it broken? No, it's not broken. I think the system works. There's adjustments to be made, and I do think that AMG will pull the trigger on making changes in a shorter amount of time because they have more invested in it, like they've got the magnifying glasses on them, not just from us, but I'm pretty sure the magnifying glasses on them from the people that they answer to financially, to give results. So I'm pretty sure that we'll see a turnaround in results similar to the Nantex. As soon as the Nantex came out, as soon as it got to the level where it got to them, they're like, nope, this is a problem, kill it. Yeah, I think that is something that is much better with AMG than it was with FFG, because FFG was like, nope, we're doing points in 6 months, or we're doing points in 9 months, so deal with it. Yeah, they didn't really do those emergency upgrades.
If I referenced the James Franco first time, meme, would you know what I'm talking about?
First time, huh?
If you use what stuff?
Yeah.
There's a meme. James Franco says first time, as he's in a hangman's noose. And
I'm an old man. I'm in my 40s, man.
That's okay, man. There's pictures on the internet. Anyways, I feel like that every time someone's like, there's something broken in X-Wing. Yeah, there probably will be for like 6 months, and then something else will be. So that's the best part about X-Wing right now, at least in our second edition components. If you don't like it, wait 6 months.
I agree there, and I think we're going to learn a lot about, with this set being, or this rule set being put out, we're going to learn a lot about AMG over the next 6 months. I think we're going to learn a ton. We do have, we have Adepticon coming up. There's the Richmond Open. There's another event that I am blanking on. There's a few of them happening.
Gen Con.
Gen Con, yeah, you would assume that there's an event happening there. They're gonna have the data. We'll see what they end up doing. And one of the things I'm working with tabletop.to essentially is any TO that wants to collect that data, the number of rounds, and did you go to time every round. If you wanted to collect that with your match slips, your online match slips, that's going to be basically a toggle ability. You can turn it on and off, and think the more information we can get to AMG, the better. Besides just lists, I think that'll be great.
But we got to say that it's from live playtesting, right?
Oh, of course. Of course. Of course.
Like we tested in our basement, in our garage, and we played 600 games over the weekend.
I mean, listen, we are data. That's all. That was where that was born. If you weren't around for the We Are Data T-shirt being inaugurated, we'll end up seeing what happens there. JB Besta says, I got the shirt. That's good. I mean, it's true. It's very true. So let's talk about the lists that we've played so far. So I've only played 2 games, and I played it with a single list. I'll go ahead and just get mine out the way because I don't think it's anything super exciting. I literally took the 4 ships I had in my bag because I didn't have time to make a list, and said, what's the closest thing I can do without having to swap out any ships? I played Poe Dameron, Jess Pava, Rose, and Greer. And notable things about Poe: he had a proton torpedo and prime thrusters, as well as overdrive thrusters. Jess Pava, panel analyzer, M9G8. Rose with marksmanship C3PO, and Greer with heroic and optics. That's what I played. It seemed fun. It moved fast. Being able to have that proton torpedo and overdrive thrusters and prime thrusters on Poe made him feel like movie Poe. Like, it was nuts. I got to do whatever I wanted. It was a lot of fun. Marcel, what have you played?
So I played, I'm not going to go through the upgrades, but I played Nash, Gorin, and 4 interceptors. Also Nash, Gorin, Zartek, and 3 interceptors, which is better because Zartek is better. Then I've played, where's this thing? Wedge, Luke, AP5, and Sabine, and the A-Wing. I've done 4 B-Wings, and then I've done 2 B-Wings, a U-Wing, and 2 A-Wings. Yeah, 4 B-Wings, U-Wing, 2 A-Wings, and Lieutenant Blunt. That's 7 ships. That was really bad. Really good in a bad way. I tried, I didn't know that it was not going to be legal. I think William or Ryan told me it was not going to be legal for Adepticon, but I tried the Mandos, the floating commandos.
Yeah, let me just put that out there. Because there's not a wide release in the United States for those yet, I'm basically going to give it a 14-day, or sorry, we're going to give it a 1-week window. And if we miraculously get a giant shipment of them in the U.S., then they'll make them legal. But as of right now, assume that they won't be.
Yeah, and they were
Razor Crest and Gauntlet.
yeah,
correct.
They were hilariously fun. I mean, those little things, just 2 ships running around doing 2 straight and hard ones were a ton of fun. I mean, I also played. That's mostly it. I have not played any Scum. I have not played any Resistance or any First Order. I did play one more Separatist. This was a lot of fun. I played Separatist with 3 Bombardiers with proximity mines and some other mine. Actually 3 proximity mines. One of them had sensor buoys, and then two other bombers with I forgot what, and then it was like a 6-ship list. It was, and my Trade Federation drone, it was a named one, actually had shield and hull.
Right.
And so that it was like a 5 health. It was a 5 health drone. That was hilarious. So anyway, I played a 6-ship Separatist. That was actually a lot of fun. It's a ton of bombs everywhere. It was crazy. Ton of bombs and missiles everywhere.
So it sounds like you're really leaning into swarms, because most of all of that was 5+, 6+.
I have not played less than no. I've played one that was 4. That was Wedge, Luke, AP5,
okay,
and Sabine. I played a 4. Everything else has been 6 or 7.
Maybe that's that's the excitement you need. You need to fly a 3-ship list and see what happens.
Yeah, but I want to win.
Of course, I was like, but I want to win. There it is. So you're convinced that the more bodies, more win is where you're at.
More bodies that are tough to kill.
Okay.
Because more bodies not. A-Wings, tough to kill. So it's only 4 health, but they move fast to capture objectives, and it's tough to kill them because most of them will have 5 health anyway.
Will?
Actually, that was funny enough. I was flying the 3 Naboo, 3 V-Wing, and Barris list pretty much all weekend. I forget. I think it was Marcel who first put it into our chat, and then I was like, ooh, that's spicy. Realized that you can put all the ion weapons on it, ion missiles, ion torps, and that has been, whew. I mean, the Naboo, sometimes they fizzle out, right? You can do what you do, but for the most part, man, that list has been overwhelming to both me and my opponent about how much is going on in it. I did try, I think the smallest I did was 4. I tried Grand, Merrick, Vault, and Vermeil as my aces. That was my ace list. And that went okay. Underperformed though. Vault went down early, and I only had 3 ships, so that was not helpful. And then a lot of it has been just rebels. I take Blount, I take Hobby, and then I find 4 other 4-point ships. And that has been, I think, a majority of my rebel list, outside of what I was finding Republic and the little bit I flew in Empire. Just, man, what you can get for 4 points. Like that's all I've even been looking at what I can do with a 5-point ship, or like how crazy Darth Vader can be. I was like, I'm digging through the bargain bin. That's why I got turned onto Barris. I'm like, an Aether Sprite. I get a 3-point Aether Sprite sold, and then that's all the 2-pointers as well. Contrail, Hobby, Blount, Revis is another one that I've been looking at. I just flew, big surprise, 5 4-point cost First Order ships.
Okay.
Backdraft, Phasma, Ember, Scorch, and Gideon in the Psy Shuttle. So all 4 initiative 4s, all 4 points, all loaded out. And that one's actually pretty good. I'm gonna return to that one. That had a lot of different things. I like the SFs having multiple arcs. You can cover multiple objectives, right? Psy Shuttle, big medium base out there holding down objectives. So that's Pyre. Man, Pyre in that list. I think Pyre is a new hot upgrade right now.
That's the one that you forced them to be stressed at the beginning of the game?
Double stressed. Remember you were talking
After
about? Yeah. So you're like, oh yeah, that dude who was like lined up right in front of the crate you're trying to pick up.
No.
Yeah, double stressed him.
That's
Marcel, like
dirty.
you said,
I forgot about that card.
The one that's like gonna go 5 forward boost and hit the middle objective. Double stressed. It's nasty. I got to get that onto more lists. That's
Actually,
4-point Gideon. It's very good for First Order right now.
a good thing that I ran into was Magva Yarrow. Is a good child carrier, because everybody gets the target locks on you, but they can only reroll 1 max, because that's Magva Yarrow's ability.
Oh,
Like, okay,
That's true.
so you,
That's pretty
you
funny.
get Predator.
Pretty funny.
You know, yeah, like, okay, target lock, and you get
Yeah,
Predator, and they
until-
get 2
And I
4s.
feel like Mando wishes he had that ability carrying the child.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, jeez, no kidding.
What have you been putting on the table, Ryan?
I also flew both the 7 Ship Republic and my own variation I'm keeping close to my chest.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
But yeah, Republic has a lot, as Will's already said, a lot of great 3-cost stuff, I think. Contrails and I-5 for 2 is really good. And then I've been trying to see, just like Marcel, I mean, I'm already a Swarm guy as it is. So like, the fact that I'm seeing all these lists being put together with all these ships is exciting in multiple factions. I just haven't found the Droid Swarm yet, unfortunately. Now I have seen you can still make very close to Isophane's list. Don't know how. I have put on the table to try whether it's the Seer and 7 Vultures or it's the Seer and 6 Vultures. So you can have either one. Only one of them gets 3 Discord missiles. The other one with the more ships only gets 1.
How do you
What's
like
the-
Discord
what's the
missiles now with only one
Seer
ability?
no longer can take Soulless one. Only Grievous is allowed to take Soulless ones. Which, by the way,
Have you
Grievous is really hard not to take in CIS. He's really good.
He's super good. Good value.
So Separatist has been a little bit difficult
Very
for me
good.
to figure out, because I'm not sure yet how good the value of the Vultures are when all these other swarms and other factions are running around, and generally better chassis.
And Marcel had just mentioned those Discord missiles at 1 agility. Now that was one of the erratas that did go through. If you guys didn't notice
another
that.
thing I'm kind of mad at. Not actually that they changed that. I don't mind that. I
right.
kind of wished that range 0 attacks could only happen against ships.
Ryan, just put it in the
What
back.
does it make sense to shoot a buzz droid off your own ship? What is this?
Well, if it's crawling around on your guns, you gotta attach the Discord to the back of them so they can't shoot it.
Yeah,
But then they can
R2 going to like.
It's still probably worth forcing someone to shoot it, but I will say on the flip side of it, it is kind of feels bad when you put it on a ship that can't get rid of it with a barrel roll and tell it you either have to run into a bunch of my ships, which already probably not a good spot. Two, put yourself in front of an obstacle. Obstacles now much more dangerous. So I guess having a self-contained way to get rid of it yourself when you're not shooting and you're disengaging, I guess.
Wang. My droids.
Yeah, Ryan, try spinning. That's a good trick. You don't have to shoot them.
Turns out a lot of my ships that I've been taking know how to spin and boost.
Pretty good.
All right. So now here's a question for you. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a challenge. This Wednesday, I want to field a 3-ship list. I know that basically from our discussion, it sounds like it's a bad idea. You probably should bring more than 3, which is why I will tell you they specifically raised the number of ships minimum from 2 to 3 because they're like, yeah, don't bring 2 ships. You're gonna get dumpstered.
Boba Boskin and Drew, let's go.
Yeah, let's toss me on Discord. Toss me on Discord what you think I should fly. The best 3 ship you can come up with, and we'll put it on the table.
You could get kind of a 2-ship list if you fly something that docks.
With the VCX or something.
Either the VCX or the Scum YV or the Scum Falcon.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Dion, you can go Han Falcon, Leia Falcon, AP5.
Okay. All right, there you go.
Make sure you put the title on Leia, not Han. Han doesn't really need it.
So you could go Boba. This is Crassus Trellix and Ahav. Or Nadru, your choice.
Or Nadru. I think I prefer Nadru.
Because points have gone up, you just take old 2-ship list and throw a 3rd in there.
I get a TIE fighter, get a Z95.
How happy I am that AP5 has the points to take K2SO. The bot bus lives on. It's one of my favorite types of support ships in the game. It was just always a little expensive to put K2SO crew in there, but now it's like built in. It's great.
It's free.
Bus bot lives.
Oh, there you go. Do you want to play Vader Defender? Because he's only coming in a 3-ship list.
That's true. Nah, I don't want to fly Vader Defender, though.
And
hey, Ryan, I'm going to send you a separatist one.
Really hard not to take X1 Vader when you can put pattern analyzer on him. He just...
Oh, no. Advanced optics, man.
What? Just 3 Talon roll or 4K and still get my action with Vader, and he can use his ability off that action? No, I'm taking pattern.
I ain't trying to K-turn. I'm trying to get 4 hits every time. I'm the Defender Vader now.
All right. I like it. 2 non-Vader defenders and an interceptor. That could be. I'm gonna mess with some stuff. Again, hit me up on Discord. So we've talked about scenarios. We've talked about the changing to list building. We've hit on some of the erratas. Again, we're not going to go through the list. There's an extensive list of them. And of course, they've also made some changes to the rules reference. Basically, just kind of clarifying or putting into writing the road rules, the player order, and things like that. Is there anything else from the new rules that you guys want to hit on specifically, or if you're in the chat right now, maybe a corner that we didn't touch on today? It's an opportunity to do that. We've hit what I think are the major categories, but we can always unpack something else.
There is apparently going around, John. I don't know if you knew this. But there's a clarification that Barriss only ever has 1 force. Got a lot of people's hopes up about that 2-force Barriss.
Oh yeah, it's a 1 force.
That's sad.
Dion, at least to give you ideas for the 3-ship list potential, they're actually one quick thing from Cherokee Open. The top in Swiss was Vader Grand Inquisitor Soontir. Granted, Cherokee Open did start their first round original dogfight, then chance encounter, and then the rest of the scenarios. I think that was because they wanted to ease people in, 1, 2, get all the tokens and stuff collected and everything, so everyone had all those stuff available for the rest of the rounds for all the scenarios. But there was also some Ray Poe Zori, well, apparently too. You sound like you already started with some Poe train.
Dude. What can he do? Anything. Awesome. Well, I want to go ahead and before we head out for the night, I want to go ahead and just take a quick look at the Cherokee Open list. They are up on List Fortress. Some of the lists weren't in there, and I went ahead and I added them in. So now all of them are there. So let's go ahead and let's flip on over to that. Let me make a quick adjustment to our screen so that we can see everything. There it is, and we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and break down the top 4 here. We start with Thomas Anonymous, which you might be like, this isn't a real person. In the GSP events, he's been going by Dread Champ. How'd you know? I watched the stream and I recognized his jacket. That's how I know. So it's Dread Champ, who was a big Rebel player in the Galactic Championship Series. He was repping at LVO all of his Rebel pins that he won. He wore them like war medals on his jacket. It was awesome. But yeah, so what did he bring here? To first place, we got Harrison Dula, build out to the 9s. We got everything's going to be built out to the 9s, Dion. Stop saying that. Debris Gambit, Trajectory, Jamming Beam, Ion Torpedoes, Thermal Detonators, Shield Upgrade, and Stabilized SFO. So you got the Trajectory Simulator out there, being able to chuck the thermals. You also have Ion Control and Debris Gambit. That's interesting to be able to get some evades out there for Hera's ability, that ability to pass tokens around when modifying dice. Netrum Pollard, a B-wing. Many people have not heard of Netrum Pollard. Has what the ability, something to do with red tokens with the stress. Help me out, guys.
Barrel roll, you can turn 180 after a barrel roll by giving a friendly stress.
There you go. Shenanigans.
Clamp another trajectory simulator.
Netrum barrel rolls, you may choose a friendly ship that is not stressed at range 0 to 1. It could be Netrum that does the 180, or a friendly ship at 0 to 1 as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, 0 to 1 takes the stress. Oh, Netrum can't flip people around. That would be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then that ship.
He himself.
You rotate.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
All right.
Only 180 though. You can't do a 90. Interesting.
I'll take a 180.
He's the best K-turn B-wing out there.
He's
very good.
A B defender or a what? A befender?
Befender. Yeah, there's a big difference between their 2K and 1 Talon roll versus what he could do is hard turn and barrel roll, or 3 forward and barrel roll. Like that's a lot of different K-turns.
Yeah, 2 turn, barrel roll back, flip around.
Yeah, pretty intense. Underrated. Speaking of underrated, Dion.
Yvonne Verlan, with selfless ion cannon turret, ion missiles, chopper, and proton bombs. What? Yeah.
What? This is 2.5 Dion. Netrum Pollard and Evan Verling can win tournaments.
What? Hold on. We wrote this Y-wing off so long ago. What does Dredd know that we don't?
So he spends a focus and gives somebody a stealth device for the round, like a positive tractor token. So you get 2 agility Hera B-wing.
At the start of the engagement phase, you may spend 1 focus token to choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, that ship rolls an additional defense die while defending until the end of the round. So it essentially makes...
You could do it for yourself, too.
Right. It makes Ivana almost like a Biggs, right? Because, like you said, you put that ability on Hera to protect it, and you're like, well, then I guess I have to kill this Y-Wing. We're like, well, yeah. You got to kill this Y-Wing, who's also, chucking, has proton bombs out there, ion cannon turret, ion missiles. So he really leaned into the control here. You got AP5 there for support with K2SO crew and R4 Astromech to have an easier time to relieve stress. And then Zeb, that is in, I believe, the attack shuttle, guys. With Hope.
That's not standard. It's the Sheathipede.
It's a Sheathipede. You're right. The Sheathipede with Hopeful, Sabrine Wren, and Hull upgrade. So 2 coordinating ships and 3 or 2 B-Wings and a Y-Wing. That sound, honestly though, that makeup of ships, that sounds super early first edition. You just bring... Seriously, right? You're like B-Wings and Y-Wings.
That's alphabet soup, man. Got some S-Wings in there. Got some Y-Wings. Got some B-Wings.
All right. Will, the runner-up, Zachary Farrell. What did he bring?
All right, Zachary Farrell has brought a Grand Republic Swarm. Starts with 3 Naboos in 1 Starfighters. Those are Naboo Handmaidens with... R2 Astromech, that's the disabled for shield. Ion torpedoes. Danae Elberger, also in the N1 with elusive, R2 C4, and ion torpedoes. So you got rerolls on defense. Actually, I guess I don't. When I always played it, that the decoyed one on Danae. Someone correct me if Zachary had put it somewhere else.
No idea.
But the Handmaidens can hand out evades. Danae gets rerolls and can spend her evade for a focus modifier. Very good trio there. Then you have a trio of V-Wings. That's Contrail with Esk, Wilif Tarkin, who can share locks that he has with people. With elusive, more defensive rerolls. Ion missiles, you got to. R3, of course, and this one's got Besh and seismic charges. Click is another V-Wing who can deny range bonuses from people if he has them locked. It's got dedicated R3, Besh, and the new Blazer Bomb, which I don't even know what it does. It blows up and creates more obstacles.
I don't know. It's not legal for Adepticon, so I haven't read it yet.
It's in the Pride of Mandalore pack, so it will be legal.
Yeah.
It will be legal for Adepticon.
You're right. Pride of Mandalore. Sorry.
So the Blaze Bomb itself, when this device detonates, each ship and remote at a range 0 to 1 rolls a die. Each ship or remote suffers 1 damage for each hit or crit. So it's damage on the initial explosion is just like a bomblet generator. Same thing. But after it detonates, place the Blaze template, which is almost like a proximine, at the end of the actual token, and then the Blaze is an obstacle for 2 turns, just like the Chaff Cloud.
Okay, so can you not launch these? They seem very good launched.
You can launch them, yeah.
Really? All right.
Yep.
This seems very powerful. But yeah, the new Blaze Bomb sounds like that is on Click. And then rounding out the list, Tiny Grand herself, Bear Sophie, with instinctive aim, concussion missiles, and calibrated laser targeting. So rolls around. If you don't shoot at her, she can spend her force to shoot a 3-dice missile. If someone else has a better shot, she can spend her force to give them an eyeball modification, shooting through their bullseye. If you've activated Esk on Contrail, you can actually convert one of his hits, same thing in the bullseye, from a hit to a crit. Super versatile. ship, best 3-point ship in the game right now, Bear Sophie. And that makes that 6 3s and a 2 in all that I just listed off. What a list.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Ion control, bombs. So good.
All right, Marcel, go ahead and take Trevor Richards, one of our 2 top 4.
Yeah. So Trevor Richards brought Trajectory Simulator Hera with proton torpedoes, seismic charges, shield upgrades, stable as foils, Wedge with elusive proton torpedoes, shield upgrade, AP5 with K2SO and R4. I think that's like, if you bring AP5 and not K2SO and R4, it's not the right AP5. Arvo with shield upgrade and vectored cannons, and same thing, if you're flying rebels and not bringing Lieutenant Blunt, you made a mistake. You took a ride at Albuquerque. Yeah, really, that's 5, right? 5. List 1, 2, 3, 5 ships.
3. Yeah.
Now, great list. I would love to see afterburners instead of shield upgrades on Wedge, but super cool list.
All right, and last but not least, Ryan, take our last top 4 competitor. By the way, shout out to Tommy who got in the top 8, but we don't got enough time, unfortunately, to break down the top 8.
All right, Kyle Joapi,
Jupri.
Harry
Jopri.
Got it. All right, I didn't know if the J was like one of those silent J's in that one. Another rebel list. We have Braylon with marksmanship, ion cannon, auto blasters, afterburners, stabilized S foils. 10 Nub with elusive, fire control system, proton torpedoes, hull upgrade, stabilized S foils. Callus in the VCX with just Saw and Leia and Blount. There was a game I saw on stream where he used Leia turn 1, 4-straighted, I think, both the Bs and Callus, and then used the afterburners on Braylon to just get even further around a quarter and just alpha striked, I think, a Barriss Offie in the first turn.
Whoa, brutal.
You gotta watch out for B-Wings that have Leia will get in position real quick if they want. Leia first turns could be really strong, for sure.
All right. Well, there you go. There's our top 4 for the Cherokee Open. Again, they didn't use they used slowly warming up the people for the different objectives, but it was the first taste of the list building. I think that's probably, to me, that's the most interesting part. The list building, that was the initial look. When we take a look at our faction numbers for the Cherokee Open, Rebels 14. There was 32 players. 14 out of the 32 people brought Rebels. That is a huge percentage, a big look at. If you go through the list, you'll see a lot of B-Wings in there, a lot of B-Wings. Followed closely by the Republic. Again, not a surprise. We've talked a lot about, hey, the Republic can take a lot of ships. So can the Rebellion. After that was with 9, by the way, 9 ships with the Republic. Then we have 4 Empire, 3 Resistance, 2 Separatists, 1 Scum, and what I find the most interesting, 0 First Order lists. It's the first event, but do you think these percentages will hold for Adepticon? Just kind of looking at this list.
No, we'll get more variety, I think.
By sheer numbers, we'll get more variety, but I think. Yeah. Republic and Rebel will still be 1. Republic will still be 2, and then everybody else will lag.
I think so.
There's gonna be some Empire too.
The First Order, just Kylo is at really a big prices right now. You don't have access to the Upsilon, right? Bombers got nerfed. I'm gonna say nerfed. They really didn't. You can still fit 5 of them with whatever you want.
Is it everybody else got better, so they're not as desirable?
Exactly. They stayed about the same power level as what they were before, which now means that you're bad. If you're not good, you're bad, right? That's
Right.
basically how competitive games go.
I think there's a lot of. So what we saw in the beginning was the obvious stuff. Oh, trajectory simulator B-wings with Sabine. That's a great starting point, right? Like that can mess up objectives. Rebels really strong in that point. And then Republic, people saw the things they could put in the Republic list, plus Force, right? It was shown Force is good. You can take actions such as the specifically the scenario actions and still have modifications. That is strong to have. And then beyond that, it's I feel like the tier 2 is like Empire and Scum/Resistance, maybe, like kind of around there,
Not
middling
Scum.
a little bit. I was surprised that Scum
Scum's
was so
also having
low.
problems.
I think a lot of people still play Scum. It's a very popular faction as it is. So I would still expect that to jump up for Adepticon.
Maybe not.
I feel like First Order and Separatists are consistently low, and there's not something obvious with First Order and Separatists right now that jumps out as like, this is the thing I should be using. Beyond just like one or two ships where you're like, this is real value, a la Grievous and Separatist, at least for me. In First Order,
Yeah.
I don't see something immediately and go like, this is amazing value and I should like find to build around it. There's small values here and there, but not a lot of like complete build around. We're not sure if it's still Kylo the faction. Can you have Kylo plus enough ships to get it done? We don't know right now.
Kylo's 8 points right now.
You can get, I think, getting 5, five of the silencers. Is that what they're called? Not silencers, whispers.
Whispers.
Yeah, you can get 5 whispers, and I think that's one of the 300-point lists. Or
That's
280
also
or
one of the
something like that.
$300 lists.
Yeah, well, true.
Super expensive.
No, you don't need money. You need friends. Like, hey, can I borrow one? Can I borrow one?
Hey, it's just like regular, it's just like real life.
Yeah, I agree a lot with Ryan, with the exception that I would flip the Scum and CIS assessment. I think the CIS has better options than Scum right now. I think Scum struggles in finding good quality 3-point ships. That's what they lack. They don't have anything that is worthwhile at 3 points. Their 3-point ships are Z95s and TIE
Escape crafts.
Escape crafts, yeah.
I
They
feel
don't.
like they got
all those are underwhelming.
They got pretty good 2-point ships.
Oh yeah,
They
but
have,
like,
they have okay 3-point ships, but man,
can I compare to you, like even Seavor versus Barris Ophi though? Like Seavor versus
Seavor is 4.
Seavor is 4. Okay.
Seavor is 4.
Yushin, Overseer Yushin is like their 3-pointer. I guess it's not true. It's probably
are you
Lando.
looking at maybe the value that they may have considered then moving through rocks is a big deal for objectives right now?
I mean, I can see that, but your choices
Unless you
are
have
escape.
trajectory simulator seismics going at you.
I'm still gonna stand by my point that in the same 3-point category you have an Aether Sprite and an Escape Craft, and you're gonna tell me that that's somehow equal. So I agree. Plus it's standard as well. All the cool ships, Kiraxes, Star Vipers, right? Quad Jumpers, they don't have access to them in standard right now.
Well, that's cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, I know that we always will compare faction cost of pilots across factions and compare them, and that's how you find value in the 200-point game. Sorry, excuse me, the now 20-point game. I know we're like, wow, Dion, wow, where are you at?
Where have you been the last week, Dion? Jeez,
I have been typing that rules document, man. Oh, trying to avoid all the rules lawyers. You know the people. Anyway, this has been fun being able to break this down. We have a lot of content to get out to you guys. I want to make a concise video for each of the objectives so that people have that information before Adepticon, because I know there's people who would prefer for me to read it to them rather than to read it themselves and they have it simplified. That's okay. We can do that for you. And yeah, so we want to get that information out. We did the list building video. That was part one, because I think that was like the biggest like surprise for most people was that. So we got that out, and we'll take care of you. We want to make sure that you guys are all set. Marcel has his hand raised. Yes, Marcel.
I just remembered I was going to say something. I promised to say something, and before you sign off,
hit it.
There, if you go, I'll share it on one of the general GSP Discord channels. But there's some multiple links out there to go and provide some type of financial support for medics and volunteers in Ukraine right now. So I will share some of the links that were shared by the team captain of Team Ukraine. And again, these are non-combat charities. They are providing volunteer medical support. So I'll put the link. Actually, Dion, I'll give you the link, and then you figure out where the best place
we'll get that.
Yep.
We'll get that.
So
done.
just if you have an opportunity, they need it. So if you see it in there, and if you can, please do.
All right, everybody. Well, the next thing I wanted to hit before we sign off is the Jank Tank Open is still going on. Just so you guys know, I think Marcel is in the top 4. We're still waiting on a couple of games to wrap up. We should have our final here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll find out what charity the winner would like to send that money towards. I know with all the 2.5 stuff, some people may have forgotten that it's going on. But it's still happening in the background. All right, but that is it. What we have for today. The links for those charities will be posted on our Discord and also included in the episode descriptions down below. And be smart and stay safe. Gold Squadron.